Hello everyone, welcome to chapter 7. We're going to be doing an interior render shot. So firstly, we're going to set our camera. We want to change the lens length to about 26. This will give us a much wider field of view. Then we can go ahead and position our camera to approximately where we want it. Now we're going to open our asset editor. For this tutorial, you're going to need to load in some of the materials. This is quite simple. We go into materials, and then you click import asset file, and we have all the materials here, so you highlight them all and open, and you do the same thing for the objects. So this will load in all the current Chaos Cosmos objects so that you'll be able to see the pot plants and the chairs. So to set up our camera, we're going to go to our render output settings. For now, we'll keep it at 800. We want to do a custom viewport. We're going to set this to 1.5 by 1. And we'll turn our safe frame on. So now we can adjust our camera to the right size. Now we're going to use shift and right click to set our camera height. We want this to be just under eye level. We press control and right click to zoom out until we've got an angle that we're happy with, and we can go ahead and save this as view 1. So now we're going to set up some of our camera parameters. We want to open the advanced tab, go to advanced camera parameters. We're going to set this film sensitivity to 100 and the shutter speed to 50. This will be much lower because we're at an interior scene where there's a lot less light coming in. So now we want to go to global illumination. We'll turn it off interactive. We want to make sure that both of them are set to brute force. Now we're going to set up an interactive view and we're going to load in our sun. So we want to type in the sun command and turn it on. Make sure that the correct view is selected when you're doing your interactive view. So now we can see that we have the window layer turned off because we have not set the material yet. And now we can see our sun here. I'm going to go ahead and close this window here. We're going to set our sun using the asset editor. You can turn it on to custom orientation. Now we're going to change the angle and position of the sun until it lights up our room. So you can see the rear shutters are facing one way on the back wall and the other way this way. So we want our sun to be coming in from the rear a bit more to give us a nice even blend of the light. As you can see, it's lighting up the windows with quite high exposure, and then the left side of the image is very dark. So we can fix this by adding additional light on the back wall to simulate sunlight. So we'll add in a rectangle light on the back. We'll make a new layer for this. So this is going to simulate a window with the sunlight. So we're going to set it to about here. And just increase the size slightly. Now if we go set up another interactive view, see it's very bright, but it is lighting up our scene. So we're going to open our asset editor, find our light here. We want to set it to invisible so that it will not affect the camera directly. And now we're going to decrease the intensity by quite a lot. So we set it to about 10 and then put a slightly warmer hue on it to simulate sunlight. You see it is now illuminating those darker areas. So now we're going to conduct a non-interactive render and make some small adjustments. So turn it off interactive and hit render. When it's done, we can make some adjustments. So to create a new layer for the curves. This way we can adjust the overexposure and some of the darker areas. So you can see we can drag the top layer down to adjust these parts, so we'll drag it down a little bit. And then some of the shadows we can decrease or increase, especially down the bottom here. You want to make these adjustments very slightly. You don't want to create too much interference with the image. And we can also turn on our color clamping and go view clamped colors. This way we can see the overexposed areas. So in our image, the back curtains are creating a lot of overexposure as the sunlight is directly hitting these shutters. So what we want to do is set our curtain material. So to this, we're going to use our previous method of creating the two-sided materials. So we'll make one generic and then one two-sided. And we're going to set this onto our Windows shutters layer. Now we can do an interactive view to see and adjust some of the parameters. So now you can see it's letting a bit more sunlight through. And we go ahead and increase or decrease the translucency. So by decreasing it fully, it's letting all the sunlight through, and we turn it down, it is now blocking the sunlight. So we want to increase it to be quite high. So now it's letting a bit more sunlight through. We might even adjust some of the sunlight parameters itself. We don't want it to overpower the image. So we'll set it to about there. And then we slightly increase our rectangle light to light up the room a bit more. I also noticed some of the lines on the scene are not quite straight because of our vertical lens adjustment. So we just go to V-Ray, Tools, Guess Lens Shift, and so we'll change our vertical lens tilt to make the lines perfectly perpendicular with the camera. And so now we're going to do our final render, final output. In the next tutorial, we're going to be setting the materials of the table and the floors, as well as the windows. So see you in the next video.